Let's take a look at this variable overhead problem. BonJovi company applies overhead based on direct labor hours. The variable overhead standard is 10 hours at $3.50 per hour. During October, BonJovi company spent $157,600 for variable overhead. 47,440 labor hours were used to produce 4,800 units. What is the variable overhead efficiency variance? Now I'm going to solve this using a column approach. Okay, so I'm going to try to fill in the actual quantity, the actual rate for actual and standard to start this off. So first, let's just look at actual. The actual quantity is 47,440. They gave us that information, and they told us total spending was 157,600. So that was given to us. Therefore, I can force the rate by taking 157,600 and dividing it by the number of units. So I can calculate the average variable overhead rate. And you can see I'm taking C12 divided by C10 using Excel as my tool. Okay, so now I know the actual quantity and rate. What about on the standard side? Well, what did they tell us? They told us that there's 10 hours permitted, that's the standard, for every unit, and there was 4,800 units produced. So if I take 4,800 times 10, I know that the standard quantity allowed for this level of volume was 48,000, and they also told us the standard was 350. So once I have that information, I can multiply the quantity times the rate and come up with 168,000 as the standard. Now, with those two pieces of information, I actually can compute the total variable overhead spending variance just by comparing the 157.6 to 168. And it's favorable, by the way, because the standard is higher than the actual. I probably should put a little F there so that we know it's favorable. All right, now using the column approach, what you can do to calculate the other two variances that make up variable overhead spending variance is to just simply move the actual quantity to the middle and move the standard quantity to the middle. And when you do that and then multiply, what you're essentially doing on the left side is you are taking the actual quantity at the difference times the two rates, right? So 47,440 times the difference between 332 and 350 will get you 8,440. Or you can just multiply down and calculate the difference. And that's what I've done with the column approach. And so what we see is we've got a price variance of 8440. Now, I should have these all going the same direction, so let me change that. I'm going to make this go the other way, where we're going to make the favorables as positives and the unfavorables as negatives. And I've seen it done both ways. So that's my favorable variance. So I want to put a little F here, right? That's favorable because the actual is less. And then what I want to do is calculate the efficiency variance. Now I don't need that there at all anymore. Let's get rid of that. And the difference between those two, again, is also favorable because the actual is much less than the standard. So that is also favorable. I'll put a little F there. And we've calculated the efficiency variance. Now that's what they wanted us to calculate, but I went ahead and calculated all three variances. Okay, I hope you found that helpful.